Hi.
You've obviously only been here for a matter of weeks or months now. The club seems to have a little bit of a reputation when it comes to some transfers, sort of slipping through their fingers, and it appears there have been two of those particular transfers this summer, and fans are understandably frustrated seeing it happen on a relatively consistent basis. At least that's how they feel. From your perspective, knowing all the information rather than just how it appears, is that a fair sort of representation? Is it very different behind the scenes?
I would say first, I don't know the history, of course. I'm also reading a little bit. If not, then I've been briefed pretty well from Anthony about the story that maybe have been something, but I can't really look too much into that. What is happening with potential transfers or not potential transfers, or rumors or not rumors? That of course, either way, I will keep for myself. What I can see is that we are working very hard, and also what I know is not that easy in general. When you want to sign a player, I can speak from experience in Brentford. I can speak about that, where we also wanted to sign players. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we didn't. And there's a lot of moving parts. There's the players, the families, the agent. There's a club that want to sell. So in general terms, so that makes it complicated.
And as a sort of follow-up to that, how important is it really to stay calm at this point when there's getting, supporters in particular, getting quite so anxious with the window sort of up and down? But also, how important is it to lift the mood with a new face at that particular position?
Yeah, I think lift the mood. I see. I don't know. Probably speaking about the fans, I guess. I don't read anything of that, so I don't know. But of course, you guys are telling me, so I guess that's part of it. I think how we can lift the mood is good performance and winning on the pitch. I think that's the key thing. Of course, we all want as good a team and squad as possible. And as I said many times, I think we've got a good, exciting squad, and let's see what will happen the next 8-9 days.
And just finally, on Richarlison, you mentioned earlier that he wants to stay, you want to keep him.
Yeah.
It's well known about his injury history at the club, but obviously that performance against Burnley showed what he can do. Where's his motivation levels going into this season?
Well, day one, he came in, knocked my door. He said, "I want to stay." I said, "Happy, good. I like you. I think you're a good player. Perfect. Let's crack on." He's been working very hard, very committed. Gym on the pitch. He has trained every session. There was one game we took him out of because of the injury history. We know we need to be very aware of that to build him. Thin layers, one step at a time. Taking good decisions. I do our best to try to take good decisions. But I see a very committed player.
Matt.
Can you tell us any differences or similarities between a transfer window at Brentford and a transfer window at Spurs? Exactly the same, or is it different?
I think it's not. I think it's not too different. Of course, I think the big thing I don't know here, and I didn't know in Brentford, is that what is actually happening when they're negotiating. So that's the same for both places. So that none of us know anything about unless you're sitting in that room. I only have done that once. That was a very good story. That's for another time. And that was in Brentford. Yeah, they'll come another time. I promise you that. That probably no cameras and over a beer. That'll be good. But I think both places have good processes. Both places have good recruitment. How can you say strategies? So when I walked in and see what Johan and Rob have done here at Tottenham, there's a lot of similarities what Lee and his team did in Brentford. And then I think the work and process in terms of how we decide players, I think it's been good. I think it need all to be a collaboration between the key stakeholders, and then we need to take good decisions.
Can I also ask on a slightly different subject? I think when you came, a lot of people that we talked to said that you're a flexible coach. We saw you play one way against Paris, but perhaps the other end of the spectrum against Burnley. When you go from one to the other, do you just flick a switch? Have you got things that you say to the players and say, like, this is this game, this is that game, or are you?
Yeah.
Are you in between on a sliding scale?
No, I try to be very clear. I think I'm. How can you say? I'm very direct as a person in terms of what I want. I said no, yes, no, this I want. So they're hopefully clear in terms of what I would like to see from the team, and also try to believe in simple messages and have maybe 3 key areas, and then try to create a narrative about each game. And that cannot be too big, because it's probably 2 or 3 key areas that will win us the game, or hopefully maximizing winning. And then we know there's a lot of other areas that will affect it.
Those 3 key areas the same every time? Are you saying?
No, let's change. So that was 3 key areas for PSG, 3 other key areas for Burnley. And the 3 key areas for tomorrow I'll not tell you.
You can't tell us what they are?
No, I will keep it.
Not for tomorrow, but from the past? Or?
Yeah, no, for example, Burnley was big on crosses, for example. Enough numbers in the box, so it's not, if you how can you say, look through our games, you can probably how can you say, analyze it and find out. So that was a key thing. I think obviously you could see set pieces against PSG was a big thing, for example. So you're welcome.
Matt.
Hi, Thomas. When you sort of miss out on key targets of the club appear to have this summer.
If we miss out, you never know. Hey, there's only a lot of rumors out there. No one has confirmed anything. Okay.
In that scenario, would there be a danger that a club could maybe sort of jump into something that isn't necessarily right in an attempt to sort of flip the optics and change them?
I think in any transfer we need to do, or we will do, or have done, it's very rarely you feel 100% sure, because you're always aiming for that perfect player, and there are very few perfect players. So and in any decision, we need to be as how can you say, confident and in what we want. And you can say when the clock is ticking down, you can say that there can be a danger. But I think is as key, we can't be sloppy and take a bad decision in the beginning of the transfer window. So I think it's the same focus.
And you said one of your early answers that transfers are always hard. They were hard at Brentford, they're hard here. Did you maybe expect coming into Spurs, the Champions League club, it may be a bit easier to get sort of those top targets and make those major signings?
If I'm honest, no. It's the same problems, just have a few more quits to spend. Same problems, same challenges, it's just different bracket.
And on reflection, when you look back, obviously the chairman of the club spoke earlier this summer about the need to win the Premier League and met those kind of targets. Do you think now those were helpful comments, or that sort of raise an expectation about how the club might act in the transfer window to sort of match that?
I mean, if I'm honest, I'm not thinking too much about it. I think that's very. There will be a win of Premier League in 9 months' time. I can't even. It is so far away. I'm focusing on one thing: go up to Manchester, do my very best to win and get 3 points, and after that, then I'll focus on the next game.
Dave.
I was just going to ask you about Eze. It feels like you're a bit nervous about saying his name. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
You can say Eze as long as you want, as much as you want. Yeah.
I mean, what I'm trying to get to is that I think everybody in this room knew that if he had the option to go to Arsenal, he would have taken that option, basically. So, was it? I don't know. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the risk and the details about pursuing a player who we all feared might go to another club if they were there for him, which it feels like they always were. Was it a risk? Is what I'm trying to get to.
No, unfortunately, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit there. I would love to. You can name Eze, you can name Gibbs White, you can name. I can't even name the 1,000 other players. Probably have a list that we've been linked with.
Oh, you carry on with
But yeah, exactly. No, but been plenty of players out there in the whatever last 5-6 weeks. I could mention them, but I will not go in details with any players that's not here.
But I also just wanted to say that you've made such a good start. PSG, as we've discussed, PSG, Burnley. I know it's only early days, but it feels like when one thing goes wrong, the mood can change quite quickly here. Ange talked quite a lot about that.
Okay.
I just wondered if that's something you're aware of and you need to address in any way. You cited the positives as well.
I don't. I think I'm too positive a guy. I'm not saying that I can't be. How can you say? Either overwhelmed or whatever. But right now, we have had 2 good performances. We've lost in penalty shootouts. We haven't actually lost a game yet. 2 good performances. We got 2 good players in. Kudus, I think, been exceptional. Paulinho, I think, would be very good for us. Going to Manchester tomorrow, I have a big belief we can do something. Big respect against the best team in England the last, 5 out of 6 years, something like that, 4 out of 6 years. So, yeah, I'm quite positive.
Just finally from me, Pep said some very nice things about you after. Do you remember the game last season?
Yeah.
And he said, I think it was just words to the effect of Thomas Frank is destined for a top job. I don't know if you remember that. And
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect there from Pep, and I guess the feeling is mutual.
Yeah, definitely. No, of course, that was very pleasing comment. Of course, I believe in myself, but the journey I've been on to get that comment from the best coach in the world is of course very nice in many ways. So he's a coach I've been studying for many years, and of course really in depth in Barcelona. Probably watched everything back then what they did, and I think he has changed football the way he has done it. All the rest of us, we just try to follow up and either do small tweaks. Welcome.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
Last one, I think. When you arrived, I remember you saying that everyone happy, everyone's smiling. Do you sort of, does it surprise you the kind of strength of feeling that is attached to the transfer window these days? You know, it feels like fans are swayed almost more by signings maybe than even results in football.
That's the good thing by not reading anything. So I'm not, so of course I'm aware that you guys are saying it or whatever. But if you don't read it, you don't get the same feeling. I think that's one thing. Hopefully we're just going to win all our matches. But as I said in the first meeting, we'll probably lose some matches and they can be tough days. But right now, I think there's more positive things that I'm looking into. And no matter if we're losing games or we're winning games or we are signing 10 new players or we're not signing 10 new players, I need to focus on the day-to-day job. I need to make sure we train well, make sure we do fantastic meetings, do top recoveries, and have all the processes in place to try to do my best to that we can help signing some players. So that's my job, and that I will try to do.
You always had, I think, one of, if not the smallest budget in the league. So it is possible to overperform even if you're not at the top of the spending table.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely also hope we can overperform here. That's the aim. But the funny thing, I was never thinking about overperforming. I just so big believe in. I know that we had one of the smallest budgets, so of course when you see it afterwards, it makes you a little bit proud that you can do that. But I was just focusing on trying to develop the players, the team, winning, and then in the end it worked quite well.
And is it possible that if you ask for slightly shorter creativity or attacking options, that is the case at the end of the window, that just as you kind of adapt the team to opposition, that you can adapt this team more generally, maybe make it more solid in midfield or sort of change the style slightly?
Yeah, well, I think I'm pretty sure how my end goal is, but also very aware I have a group of players. Those are the players I need to work with, and I need to work with them inside those principles and how I wanna play. But of course, depending on their qualities and abilities, then I will tweak it accordingly.